Hey, how's it going, everyone? And welcome to a Zeal stream with yours truly, Talk to Me Goosehead, once again. Hopefully, you are doing well and fine and dandy. And welcome to Fridays. Yeah, you made it through the week. It is just about the weekend and just steps closer away from Christmas and all that good festive stuff. Excuse me. Take a little swig of water while we're at it. So yeah, so what's going on in today's stream, you might ask, and it is Advent of Code time, folks. It is your once a year during Christmas time, following the Advent calendar coding challenge. I am fairly new to this. I mean, I've done it before in the past. Last year, I was introduced to it about 2 years ago. I've never gone through all the days, but I thought it'd be interesting and fun to try to introduce it to those that don't know about it, and try to go through some of the problems. So it started on December 1st, and the code challenges started to appear, and there are new code challenges that appear once a day all the way to Christmas, 25 days following the Advent calendar. So stream CC warning, that is because it is not on yet, so I don't turn it on until I am live. But thank you for letting me know so I can remember to turn that on. So let's go ahead and turn that on, and the warning should go away. I mean, the warning worked because the warning tells you to bug me to turn it on, so it works. It is effective. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch on to the screen and check out what is to see here. So here is the Advent of Code website. So it is just adventofcode.com. They've been doing this for a number of years. And so let me go ahead and pop this into the chat. So it shows up on the screen. So this is the Advent of Code. So the nice thing about Advent Code is that it's just programming challenges. So it doesn't matter what programming language you use, whatever strategy you decide to do. You can try to even do it in pen and paper, whatever it is. All that matters is that you have a problem, you solve it to drive a solution of usually it's some sort of numerical value, and then you put it into the field and it's solved. That's what happens. So it doesn't matter what you decide to solve it with. Yeah, so you don't need a computer science background to participate, just a little programming knowledge and some problem solving skills. So that's the thing. Problem solving skills. Oof. That's good. That's the thing that can make or break you. Nor do you need a fancy computer. Every problem has a solution that completes in at most 15 seconds on a 10-year-old hardware. And then, so let's go through the general tips. So if you get stuck trying a solution against the examples given in the puzzle, you should get the same answers. If not, reread the description. Did you misunderstand something? Is your program doing something you don't expect after the examples work? If your answer still isn't correct, build some test cases for which you can verify the answer by hand and see if those work with your program. Make sure you have the entire puzzle input. If you're still stuck, maybe ask a friend for help or come back to the puzzle later. You can also ask for hints in the subreddit. So they have a nice subreddit community where people are problem solving and stuff like that. So some frequently asked questions. So authentication, I think, is so you log in and you get credentials so it can track your progress. So you can unlock, so you can track your progress. So it can input and give you stuff. So you'll log in, and then is our high contrast mode. So in case it's too hard to read, and then the people that were involved. All right. So let's take a look at the first. Let's look at the homepage. So this is what you see for the Advent and calendar. So you can see that each one of these is the days that have been unlocked. So we're on December 4th, and so you can see 4 has been unlocked, and in 7 hours and 51 minutes, day 5 will be unlocked because that is, I believe that's UTC. So right at the beginning of the the midnight of on UTC 000, that's when it'll unlock for those on that time zone. So let's see. Let's just click around some more. So that's the calendar. That's fine. I like how they're doing this little code thing here. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna log in, and so we can start seeing the problems and tracking stuff. So let's go ahead, and I am going to, let's see, first let me just click login, and I'll just log in with my GitHub credentials. Not a big deal. You can log in with GitHub, Google, Twitter, Reddit. I'll log in with GitHub. What I'm going to do though is I don't remember if it accidentally shows you credentials straight off the bat. So I'm going to click secret real quick, and then click GitHub to authenticate. Okay. So that part was okay. So we just logged in. We can see that it's logged in as me, and then we can see the problems. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing these challenges in Elixir. So I have a project already set up in my GitHub for Advent Code Elixir Starter. So let's see, Advent. I have a project, Advent of Code. Here we go. So this repository that I set up was actually a clone from a template made by M. Handberg that went through and set up an project so you can just start coding right away with Elixir. It contains files for all 25 days and a way to run those. So you can run mix and run it to see what your results are. So you just fill it in, run it, and and get the code. So, and then also there's a benchmarking utility, so you can see how fast your solution is. So that's really cool. So all the initial legwork to set up a project and stuff like that for Elixir to start doing Advent and Code challenges has been removed, and that's awesome. I also I thought this was really awesome, so I also contributed to this repository just yesterday, so that you can actually run this repository once you clone this project locally. You can either run this in a Visual Studio Code container, dev container, so you don't have to worry about setting up your computer for Elixir. Instead, I'll just use Docker and VS Code combined to launch a Docker image and run, build a Docker image, and then run your code inside a container and SSH into it. What the cool thing is that this makes it compatible with GitHub Codespaces. So we're gonna be using GitHub Codespaces for this. So if you want to link to the starter, let me go ahead and copy that link and throw it into the chat for everyone to see. And I'll just put that on the screen for a little while in case anyone wants to check that URL out if they can't see it. So I am going to go ahead and launch this in Codespaces. So let me go ahead and get rid of this repository and launch this up in Codespaces. So we're going to be doing this all through the browser using the contribution I made. One thing I need to do is I will need to go back to that repository. So there it goes. It's doing its thing. And Advent of Code. And someone else introduced a thing to pull down the inputs for a specific year. So this is super interesting. Optional automatic input retriever. So what do I mean by input retriever? So let's go ahead. So there's going to be inputs that are going to be run to solve the problem. So let's go ahead and take a look at the admin code, and let's go to day 1. And here is our problem. So all the problems have some sort of input that we have to there it is, get your puzzle input, and you have to get the answer for. So someone went above and beyond, also contributing to this project, to go and fetch that input for that day that you can use. So that's amazing. So the starter comes with the module that would automatically get your inputs, so you don't have to mess with the copy and pasting. Don't worry, it automatically caches your inputs to your machine, so you don't have to worry about slamming the Advent No Code server. You will need a configuration. You need to configure it with your cookie to make sure it is enabled. You can do this by creating a config secret EXS file containing the following with your cookie. And then after which you can retrieve your inputs. So that's really cool. So we're probably going to try using that instead of having to copy and paste the inputs. We'll see how that goes. Looks like our code space is almost up and running. We have it all launched up and almost ready to go. So again, this is all on the cloud, which makes this super awesome. Let's launch this as a web app, so it's not in the browser. So it functions almost like you have a locally installed Visual Studio Code. And we'll just give it a moment to initialize all the extensions and stuff, because usually that takes just a little bit of time for it to finish that up. So let's start first by reading day 1 problem. So report repair. After saving Christmas 5 years in a row, you decided to take a vacation at a nice resort on a tropical island. Surely Christmas will go on without you. The tropical island has its own currency and is entirely cash only. The gold coins used there have a little picture of a starfish. The locals just call them stars. None of the currency exchanges seem to have heard of them, but somehow you'll need to find 50 of these coins by the time you arrive so you can pay the deposit on your room. To save your vacation, you need to get all 50 stars by December 25th. Collect stars by solving puzzles. 2 puzzles will be made available on each day in the Advent calendar. The second puzzle is unlocked when you complete the first. Each puzzle grants 1 star. Good luck. Before you leave, the elves in accounting just need you to fix your expense report, your puzzle input. Apparently, something isn't quite adding up. Specifically, they need you to find the 2 entries that sum to 2020, and then multiply those 2 numbers together. For example, suppose your expense report contained the following: the 1721, 979, 366, 299, 657, 456. In the list, the 2 entries to sum to 2020 are 1721 and 299. Multiplying them together produces 514,579. So the correct answer is 514,579. Of course, your expense report is much larger. Find the 2 entries that sum to 2020. What do you get if you multiply them directly? So they gave us a little example, and then they gave us an actual input file, like you can see right here. So that's what the special utility is for, to help us with the input file. So that's what we're going to want to try to use. Let's try to set things up so we can potentially pull in that input file. So our code space is still, we can probably close this. So let's just make sure, do we have Elixir in here? We do. And then let's make sure that we can actually run the example days. So mix day 1, part 1, and that ran. So that ran, that goes to the thing, and then it's warning about a couple things, but it ran. And let's go. I'm going to use Z shell. There we go. Cool. All right, now let's make sure that we set up our config secret such that it, so let's create a secret EXS file so we can add in our advent and code stuff. So our downloader. So EXS, and then we need to add in this into it. So this will be our cookie. And let's see. So I believe we get our cookie from our settings page. Let me see if it actually says. So I believe we get our cookie from our settings page right here. So I am going to avoid accidentally showing any private credentials. So let's preemptively put it on the secrets screen and jump over to the secrets tab. And there it is. If you provide, hover, if you are asked to approve your own account by a bank administrator to put this code in a public place. So I think this is the cookie. Let me add this in to our little secret cookie, session cookie store thing. Okay. And let's go back to day 1. Did I close that file? Yes, I did. Good to know. Okay, so let's go ahead and try running that command that they say to do if you're going to do it. So we want to get, if you just want to get the auto detect the current year, then get 1. So we're going to want to get day 1. Unknown file attribute 1. Interesting. Maybe because we have to run this in IEX. Oh, I get it. I know what to do. So I wonder if we, in our, of course I can't do it here because it's not a command line. Duh. But let's take a look at day 1. And the mix task for day 1, part 1. So I think for the input, what we can do is we can set that the input is day 1 here for the mix task. And hopefully that will do the trick. Excuse me. So our mix task is D01.1.P1. Cache miss for day 1 of 2020 allow network requests is not true. I thought I set that to true. All right, let's go back to secret mode because I need to double check whether I set that to true. It looks like it's supposed to be true. All right, well, we'll skip this part right now, I guess. Unless I did not grab the cookie right. Yeah, we'll worry about this later. Let's just get to the code. Let me make sure I close this file. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So our input is going to be our example input first. So our expense report, we have this. So let's this is our expense report. There we go. So let's see about running our thing again. Results nil. Let's also see if we can do a little logger. I think it's importing logger, or how do you console log stuff? Excuse me. Actually, let's just get to the problem at hand. All right, so it's gonna call part one here, and then it's gonna receive the input, and we're going to see what happens next. Let's close that. All right, so we have to go through each one of these and sum these up. So the args, what is our args? Let's find out. I think io.puts would work. So our args are the number, is just the big old thing of number. And what we need to do is we need to go through each one. We need to collect these numbers and then loop through and add them together until we find one that matches. So we'll have to go like 721,979, like grab 721 and loop through here and find each one that adds up. If that doesn't work, then we have to go 979 and then see if 366 works. So we just go down we just like look ahead. So we look at the current index, we go through all the numbers ahead of it, add it up, and see how that works. So I think that's the strategy in which to do that. The first step we need to do is we need to get these numbers and parse this string so that we can get them as numbers and not as strings. That's the first step that we need to do. So we need to figure out how to take a string and somehow parse that into an array of numbers or into a list of numbers. So let's see. Let's take a look at strings and other things. Helpful utilities for strings and other things. I have this really cool guide that I found that I need to share out. It's a visual guide of functions in Elixir. Modules and functions in those modules in Elixir. So it goes through it goes through a couple of the major modules, and it shows you what you can do with it. So this is really cool. So this is, I would love to see you. Let's try using this and see if we can use this to help us find, the correct function to parse out our list of our string of values. So let's take a look at stuff here. Let's go through. So to char list. So I'm trying to see if they have anything that has to do with the string. Like a split or anything like that, so we can convert this to stuff. It looks like it does not contain any visuals for that. Reduce map sum to char list. Atom, no. Converts an atom to a char list. That doesn't work. To string. Converts an atom to a string. No. All right. So that's not helping us much. So let's go ahead and let's see if we could look up documentation for Elixir string parse. Parsing strings in Elixir. Let's see what this says. How about, we don't want to parse, we want a string split. So it looks like Elixir might already have a method for that. So let's look up Elixir string. Where is the documentation? Docs. Here we go. Wait. Standard library. There we go. Let's look at string. Go to the top of that. And we will go and look at the different functions. So code points, I think, is like each character, if I remember correctly. We don't want to do a slice. List of code points. Let's see, split. So we're going to want to try to just do a string split on a new line. Looks like it's fairly straightforward. Let's try to close some of these things here that I don't need to have open anymore. I can close this, close that. Here we go. So I'll try to do this. Let's try to do a string split. Make this bigger. And we want to try to split on new line. And let's see what that result gives us. So IO puts result. So it looks like that gave us something. Let's actually see if we split them into their various parts. So a split is supposed to take us and give us an array of items and split them. And then what I want to do next is need to remove, so like yes, it divides a string into substrings, each Unicode white space, occurrences leading to trailing white spaces. I think string had a special pattern to get rid of the white spaces too. But let's see. So we split this up into array, and then what I want to do next is we need to convert this into numbers. So we need to do some sort of number conversion on this. I believe string doesn't have, there you go, string to integer. And then we're just doing a to integer on base 10. So we want to go through each one. So this is, we're going to doing enum. And we have to go through the enumerable thing. I have to remember how to do that. And we have to do a map. So we have to map. Map. And then we have to provide it a anonymous function that takes in the number, and then we output the then we want to do string dot to integer. I should just like keep all these open in tabs. To integer. So regular to integer will just does the standard base 10, it looks like. So we don't have to worry about doing base 10 type of dealies. So to integer with the num. So that should return back a map of numbers. Let's see if that thus far is okay. So far, so good. It doesn't look like it's airing out just yet. I hope not. And so now that we have that collection of numbers, let's see about just doing a summation of those. So if we try to sum those numbers together, what happens? So if we try to sum the array that we get back, what happens? Are we getting errors? I'm more curious if we get any sort of weird errors. Unexpected token function. It looks like I have something out of balance, maybe. There. Alrighty then. Let me change my view over here. Unexpected word. Looks like we do have something out of balance here. Yes, we do. What the heck? How's this wrong? Oh, it's missing the term end. Right. We're not dealing with Ruby. Variable args is unused. We're like returning back the same thing over and over again. Wait, what do you mean? Let's see. Variable map does not exist and is being expanded to .map. Please use parentheses to remove the ambiguity. How am I doing this wrong? Variable map does not exist and is being expanded to map. Oh, right here. Because that's the, yeah, well, we don't need to, that's the variable, yeah. So there we go. That should actually work now. Okay, so now we're getting issues because there are a bunch of white spaces in here in our split of each item. So when we do a to integer, so that's, yeah, so now we have to strip white spaces on the values for a string. Usually that's a chomp or strip. Let's look at the documentation. Trim. There we go. Returns a string where all leading and trailing Unicode white spaces are removed. So we'll do a trim. So string trim. So we'll trim the number and then for now we'll just not, and then we'll just wrap that in. Allow a paste. Whoa. There we go. So trim what gets returned by to integer. So not exactly Elixir, but I think, wait, I did the other way around. This, we should to integer after to integer and then trim. So trim first and then to integer after. And adding those all together gives you 5496. But we don't want to add everything together. We want to collect and find the one that adds up. So this is something that's going to be done recursively, I believe. So we need to find some 2020. Can't forget the do. So at this point, we should get the numbers. And then well, let's just go one piece at a time. So we get the numbers, and then what I want to do here is take the first item, so value 1, and we get that. Actually, we can probably do this. Value 1 and the numbers. So I don't have to actually do that to fetch value 1. And then what I want to do here is I want to iterate through that so I can get the, let me open up my Notions doc also. I want to iterate through that and see if any of these values in here are going to equal 2020, and if so, that's the value I return. So I have to do a loop in Elixir, and I'm trying to see if my little cheat sheet, if I marked how to do loops in Elixir, because I don't know how to do anything yet off the top of my head. All right, let's see here. Functions, conditionals, guard clauses, shortcuts, list comprehension, and generation. Uh, so that's our list. That's our value. And then we do something. So we can do for item in that. So let's try this. This might not be the proper way. It's one of the ways I have in my little notes. So for value 2 in the other way around. Oh, this is looping through and it's outputting stuff. So this is kind of like a map. So not exactly. Elixir loops. Elixir laying loops. How about that? Is that really just it? I thought there was a more yeah, I don't think loops exist in Elixir now that I think about it. I think I remember that. So how do I do this? Value 1 value 2 other numbers. If value 1 plus value 2 this is why we do these type of programs, so we can get used to how Elixir does things. Yeah, because it says right here that due to immutability loops in Elixir are functional programming languages are written differently in imperative languages. Here's a super loop iteration. Yeah, so it's just through function calls. So I want equals 2020 return value 1 times value 2. Oh, we can do the when clause. So when, like how they were showing value 1 plus value 2 is equal to 2020. Return that else find some end do end. So we're going to call this find sum here. Find sum 2020. So it gets the first initial array and it tries to do this. So this is the base case. So maybe we don't do this yet. We have to call to do. So we have this, and we have value 1 and value 2. And then we do find let's call it find values. Find the values. Find values. Some 2020. Itchy. So then what happens here is, so we get the array, we have these two values here. How's it going so far? Just getting into it just now. So what the challenge is we have an array of numbers. We have an array of numbers. I have both days up. We have an array of numbers, or we have an input of numbers. We convert that into an array of numbers. And we have to find the two numbers in here that sum up to 2020. And after we find those two numbers, we multiply them together to get our answer. So we're just kind of going through here after setting up our project. And we're taking that string input, we're splitting it, and then we're splitting it based off the new lines. Then we're running through and mapping over that and kind of really dirty, trimming out the white spaces around those numbers that have been split, converting them to integers so we can get a new array of integers. And then we're then we're building out this find value, trying to build out the functionality to find the values, those two values, and multiply them. I guess we're just going to call this find value. So this is where I'm thinking through, trying to get into the Elixir mindset of how we do this, because in Elixir, we don't do just regular while loops. We have to do everything kind of like recursively. So we get the array input, and I'm taking the two values. And if those two values, and then I pass the value 1 and value 2 and the other numbers. So I know this is not going to work because value 1, value 2, other numbers. So I'm just trying to get my mind wrapped around this. So value 2, number 2, other numbers. And then if we take value 1 plus value 2 equal 2020, then the answer would be value 1 multiplied by value 2. What's this complaining about? The operator is typically used because we're doing two different. I can't do two things. Operator typically used before brackets, and then the cons operator. List also use. Okay, so we can only grab one, so we can't grab two. Thank you, compiler, for letting me know. So that makes things a little bit more interesting. So if we only get one value coming in, so it makes me wonder if I can just do this where value 2. And then I can just do value 1, value 2, and then multiply those two together to find the values. Ooh, man, that's like triple the red lines. Oh, yeah, because we're missing a terminator right there. Now, what's this angry about? Other numbers is unused. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So we don't really care about the other numbers if this condition is met. If that condition is not met, then we can do other numbers. And then instead of doing this, so get rid of this when clause. And do find some 2020 with value 1 and other numbers. And then if we need to do a situation where if this is empty, it returns back. We just do nothing. I don't even know what to return. Unexpected do case, you wanted to write a do expression, you must either do how do we do the single line functions again in Elixir? Why am I drawing a blank on this? (2020) on line 17. Oh yeah, this is 2002. This should be 2020. You're right. How do we do the single line functions? Or is it then? So this isn't exactly what gonna give us our answer just yet because I don't have We pass it the array, find value. Find value splits this up and does this. So if it doesn't find, and then it gives it splits it up, grabs the first value, and then does the first. So this is only going to do it for the first index, or the very first 0th index, and then loops through. So we don't have it looping through the subsequent items. So if that's the case, yeah, let's just see. Let's see if we get any errors, which we probably will. Missing terminator due at starting line of line 28. So, all right, let's just do this because. One 54597. I don't think that. I think that it coincidentally ends up being the right answer because luckily the first number is in this index in 299 514579. But that will not give us the correct answer in the more advanced one because we only go through the very first values. So if I were to illustrate this, puts, and I would say multiply, and I just display the pairs in which we're doing this with. So value 1 and value 2. I think that's the way we do, we display values. Oops, I ran the wrong code. There we go. Yeah. So 1721 299. So if it hits 2020, actually, that's interesting because here we go. This is when the output will show up. Actually, did I accidentally delete that? Yeah, I did. Why is it doing that? Hold on. VS Code's being weird for me right now. It's like showing the get lens thing and it's getting in the way. That's super weird. Is the code still gonna work? Yeah, it is. I need to disable looks like get lens is causing issues. Get lens. Disable in this workspace. Yes, just disable all those extensions then. There we go. Now things are looking a little bit better. So I need to do the process of if this doesn't work, then we need to pass in the next set. We need to look at the next index over if this ends up returning nil. And this is not, I don't like that formatting there. I guess what we can do is If this ends up returning nil, then we so value. So if result is equal to nil, then we will do the next iteration, we'll call find value. And find value will just be the other numbers. And that should hopefully, nope, getting a little notification off screen. So we do find sum 2020. And if that returns back nil, and I need to fix this because we have this right here, and result, and then we return results. So find sum 2020. It tries to go through value 1, tries to pull off value 1 and go through the rest of them, iterating through. If that doesn't work, then it calls find value again, going through the other numbers, and yeah, so we'll see if that is using the other numbers, and then that will peel off the next one and go look ahead. So hopefully that works. There might be a syntax error somewhere. Is it because I need to do a do in the if statement? 514579, so we still get the right answer. But we should probably, let's mix up our input a little bit to double check whether our answer is still a valid answer. So I am going to replace 979 with 1721 down here, and then put 979 down up here. And let's see if it'll still solve the problem. It did not solve the problem. So maybe this condition here isn't good. So let's see if we ever get into this this land right here. So we do get in there. Let's try to add some debug statements in here to see what's happening. So IO puts multi value 1 multiplied by value 2, put that there, so we can get some idea what's going on. Not answer. So get some good logging in here. So it did find the answer. Oh, so it's not using this result. Let's see. Maybe I don't. Let's see. So if we do this. So it did find the answer. I just didn't return it back. Do that. If that, return results. If not, find results. Will that do the trick for us? Conditionals. How do we conditionals? So if it's okay. Let's see if this will nope. This is what I want. So if it's nil, it's that. If it's anything else, actually, let's do this. This isn't the cleanest, but this will get us. Whoa. Whoa. Did we just lose internet access to our thing? Okay, we got it back. Why is GitLens active again? See that? Weird. Okay. We're getting some network issues, it seems like. There we go. We got the answer. It's still the same answer and still looks good. So let's go ahead and do that. Get rid of that. And we did it. Okay, so let's actually get the input file now. So let's get our new input. Let's get our actual puzzle input coming in. And let's go ahead and paste that puzzle input here. Big old messy puzzle input. And we're waiting for the thing to save. Okay. Now let's try running our little application and see what happens. All right, so it says it's 898,299. That's what our answer hopefully is. That's the right answer. You are 1 gold star closer to saving the vacation. Let's go on to part 2 now. Nice. All right. the first half of this puzzle is complete. It provides 1 gold star. The elves in So part 2 is the elves in accounting are thankful for your help. One of them even offers you a starfish coin they had left over from a past vacation. They offer you a second one if you can find 3 numbers in your expense report that meet the same criteria. Using the above example again, the three entries that sum up to 2020 went down. Yeah, the 3 numbers that sum up to 2020 are 979, 366, and 675. Multiplying them together produces the answer 2418. Okay, we don't have to worry about that. In your expense report, what is the product of the 3 entries that sum up to 2020? So we have to expand on what we're trying to do here. So instead of 2 numbers for 2020, we need to find 3 numbers. So basically what we have to do is we have to look at things in pairs. So where we were originally iterating through and we grabbed 721, we held on to 721 and then we went through each one of these values here. I think what we have to do is we have to hold on to 721 and 979 and look at numbers ahead, and then hold on, and then if that doesn't work, need to hold on to 366 and then look ahead. If that doesn't work, 299, and then at the same time we also have to make sure that the 2 numbers themselves don't audit, like we can't hold on to it if it already goes over 2020. So if it already goes over the value of 2020, then we don't look at it. So in this case, holding on to 721, 1721, and 979 is not going to be good because that goes over 2020. So we would have to just skip that and hold on to these 2 pairs and go and iterate through. That is what I'm thinking needs to be the solution for this. Any thoughts in the chat is always welcomed. All right, so this is pretty messy. I do admit, not the best. Let's see here. So with our find value right now, we're just grabbing value 1. We're iterating through and grabbing. It's almost like we need to just sum up the first 2 and then iterate through. So it would be like def p find value. So let's rename this to find value pair and pair. And then what I'm just thinking, so this is super naive. We'll see if this pans out. Find value trio. Whoa. Find value. Something's up with my keys here. Find value trio. And what I will do here is do end. So it's going to be similar to what we did over here already. But what we'll do instead is grab value 1. And let's see if this works. And then we'll grab value 2. I just remembered how to grab multiple values from array. And then we grew other numbers. So we have the two values. What we need to do here is do value 1. So result, I don't know, pair sum value 1 plus value 2. So that's our pair sum. And what we would do is pass in pair sum like this, other numbers, and then value trio, other numbers. So we want to bring back value 2 back into here, because now we want to start off with not from here but from value 2. I think. Let's see. Let's pause and think. So we have the first two numbers. We take those other numbers and this is going to iterate through and find the sum of following those two values. Now the next challenge is to go on, if that returns back nothing, go on to find the current value 1 and pair it with something else. Yeah, so that's the tricky part. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think about the case where it is when we need to go on to the next step. Because this won't 100% work. Let me go ahead and put this. I'm going to extract that section of the code out into parse. Trying to see. Yeah, it isn't. Parse, we'll just call this parse numbers. And S. And we'll take these first 3 lines to be like that. And then what I can do is parse numbers, args, just to reduce the boilerplate. And put that there. So what's parse numbers complain about? S is unused. Yeah. S. Value trio. So if we were to run the second example, all we got to do is mix D01 part P2 if the terminal can respond fast enough. Identify function to find value, because for some reason, what is up with my line? Again, somehow GetLens is messing with things. Find value on line 18. Oh yeah, that's correct. Find value pair. Find value trio. Other numbers. There we go. Just complaining about values not being used. Value 2 is not used, okay. All right, we have an error. It tried to split incorrectly. Oh, because part 2 doesn't have the input. So part 2 is the exact same input as part 1. So let's go ahead and copy that and go over to the mix task for part 2 and paste over that. Fine, we're given to having a trio, showing 1 out of 0. Probably because of our base case. Yeah. Yeah, so our code's not perfect to handle 3. Let's see. So we can leverage the recursion that's already happening, I feel like, because we're already looking for 2 numbers. Drink some water. Okay. So find value pair, value 1 with other numbers. And so let's go and find the 2 pairs that have that at some have a summation 2020. Now we have to find 3 values that do the same thing. Where we could, and I'm trying to treat it so that these are array values like this, find trio. And where's it complaining about this? On find trio. So attempted to function clause 1 out of 1. 1 and then an empty thing. Yeah. So like there needs to be a case where if there's only one value, then if there's only one value, then just return nil. Something along those lines. That might fix that issue. Yeah, that now that just returns nil. Let's try, instead of using, let's use the current simple input instead of the more advanced input right now. So we know when we get the answer. So we do this again, empty. So the answer for this one is supposed to be 979366675. Yeah, so this is where things get tricky. Tricky. I think the way I'm peeling off these numbers when I first start this off isn't correct. Let's see. So we have value 1, value 2. One thing I can potentially do is just keep on throwing around the same array too. What if I can simplify the original one and just keep on throwing around the same array? Because value 1, so it's working for value 1, but once we get to value 2, no. Okay, I need to like rewire my brain. So the nice example that we have for Elixir is the Elixir. Or let's actually look at Elixir School. I love Elixir School. And let's take a look to see if it has anything on pipe order, modules, sigils, documentation, testing, comprehensions. Nope. All right, let's look at Elixir Fibonacci. The Elixir Fibonacci example. The tried and true Elixir Fibonacci example like that. get the input, do that. Okay, so yeah. Not exactly helping me. Let's collapse that. Let's try a different approach to this. The original answer. Numbers. So value 1, so using the knowledge I have, let's take a look at value 1 and value 2. When, again, value 1 is equal value 1 plus value 2 is equal to 2020. Do that. Value 1, value 2, other numbers. We did the multiplication. So this right here. If that ended up not being the case, we don't care about the other numbers. If value pairs ended up not being the case, let me just get rid of this trio example right now. Then we would do we would go on, we would iterate and go to the next step, which was look ahead to let me call this out. Value 1. That would return that. If that isn't the situation, they want to call find value pair. Find value pair with value 1 and other, let's see. See, I think I need to pass through numbers. I think I need to retain the original array, maybe. Find some 2020. Put the original numbers, value 1. I think I do that this way. We're running out of time here. Only a couple more minutes. Other numbers. Other numbers. Get rid of this for now. This is going to distract us. Numbers. Let's see here. So I think I might even want to keep this other numbers. We'll see. Okay. Numbers. So find value pair. Let's see if this idea is gonna work. Numbers. No, let's just do this. Other numbers. Other numbers. Numbers. Find value pair. Okay, so if I think we don't have a terminator case though. That, well, we didn't save. Yeah. Line 18, we don't have an enclosing bracket for that. Identify function the sum. Find sum 2020 with 3 values. Identify function find trio value of 1. Ah, yes, because I have yet to do anything with that. Find sum 2020 with 2 arguments is unused. Undefined function find sum with 2020 with 3 values is unused. Numbers. Value 1 multiply value 2. Numbers. This terminator case. Might not need. Let's see. Attendant function clause showing 1 out of 1. And attentive function clause 1 and 1. Numbers. So this one's kind of jank. Attempted function clauses 1 out of 1. So the first item, so the following arguments were given to admin code Dave. No function clause for this one. Array of values, or list, number, list. I thought this would work. Cancel. We're just out of time now. Oh, we need to go. Okay, yeah, there's a missing iteration step of when they don't sum up. Right. That's what it's telling us. When they don't equal each other, when value 1 and value 2 don't equal, we got to go on to the next step forward. So we don't care about this value, but we do care about the other numbers. So then we would do this and do this, and then numbers with other numbers. Numbers is unused. Fine. 898-299, and that was the answer for that. Okay, so we tweaked things a little bit. And got rid of that logic for the if, for like the if statement logic. So I'm hoping with this different solution in mind, can try to find the trio value. So we refactored that in a successful refactor to be way more, what do you call it? Recursive, less if statements. So we do this condition here where we pass this others numbers, and then if we don't find any values, then we just do numbers, find value pair with the next step of values. So I'm hoping to kind of take that same idea, find trio, find value trio is what we're going to try to do, and that's going to take us the values again, so the numbers, all the numbers, and we'll have to pick this up next time because we're running out of time. So I might finish this off stream so that we can continue on to the next problem set. So we'll see how this goes, and then I can go over the solution. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. I greatly appreciate that. Anyone that was lurking. And I will catch you next time. More Advent of Code. So take it easy, everyone. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye.